Today, on Guess What I Found Out, we're going to discover some facts about trees that will make you look at your backyard like it's plotting something. Because, Curious George, here's your bold claim of the day. Every tree you've ever seen is about 95% dead. Yes, dead. Standing there proudly like a natural zombie wearing bark as fashion armor. And the living part? A microscopic paper-thin sliver hiding between two layers of what is essentially plant corpse material. If that revelation just made your inner gardener gasp, go ahead and hit that like button like you're pruning a branch you're emotionally attached to. Let's begin with what trees actually are. Extremists. Trees forge their bodies out of thin air, literally. They inhale carbon dioxide, rearrange the atoms, and spit out a skyscraper made of wood. They crush rocks using acid like nature's slowest demolition crew. And their internal plumbing system builds such intense negative pressure that if it were applied to a human, well, Curious George, you'd pop like a juice box in a lawnmower. Still feeling affectionate toward trees? Great. Tap that follow button like you're hugging a redwood after a midlife crisis. Over 1 billion years ago, plants floated peacefully on the ocean surface, sunbathing, absorbing water, enjoying life. Then, around 470 million years ago, they moved onto land, and everything changed. Competition, sunlight scarcity, shade warfare, plants became dramatic. Thus began the battle for the sky, the botanical equivalent of every college student fighting for the best seat in the classroom. Early plants were built from cellulose, which is basically wet tissue paper, pretending to be a building material. Height was not in the cards. But over millions of years, plants evolved lignin, the structural molecule equivalent of pouring concrete into a floppy noodle. With lignin, the world got wood. And with wood came the first towering trees, which rose into the sky like, "Look at me now, Susan." Now let's talk structure. Because the tree's body plan is, well, honestly absurd. The real powerhouse is the cambium, a razor-thin ring of living stem cells sandwiched between inner dead wood and outer dead bark. Everything important happens in this microscopic strip. It is the world's tiniest conveyor belt of death. On the inside, cambium produces xylem cells. These cells hollow themselves out, reinforce with lignin, and then die. Their corpses become an enormous network of pipes that transport water upward through sheer physical torment. On the outside, cambium produces phloem, the tree's sugar highway and communication center. Phloem is alive, delicate, and responsible for feeding the entire organism. And the bark? Dead. Just a crunchy shield protecting the only part that actually matters. If this is the kind of uplifting biology that fuels your Wednesday, smash that like button like you're testing the sturdiness of a wooden table you definitely can't afford. Xylem is the wood, the part you touch, carve, build with, or emotionally lean against after a stressful day. And it works by chugging water upward through cohesion, where water molecules cling together like desperate group project members trying not to fail. Sunlight pulls water out of the leaves in a process called transpiration, which creates a vacuum so powerful it can lift water over 100 meters straight up. This negative pressure is equivalent to dozens of atmospheres. Inside those narrow xylem tubes, water cannot boil or bubble. If it did, the whole hydraulic system would implode. So trees operate on the edge of physical sanity every single day. Old xylem cells eventually fill with resins and become heartwood, a rock-solid biological fortress resistant to decay. So yes, trees become more powerful the more they die. Much like your sense of humor. Phloem is the delicate living transport layer just inside the bark. It handles sugar distribution and information signaling because apparently trees gossip as much as humans do. Phloem is made of sieve cells. They hollow themselves out and lose their nuclei. Imagine deleting your brain so you can focus on being a better pipeline. Companion cells. These babysitters handle all the hard tasks for the sieve cells, sending energy and instructions through microscopic channels. Parenchyma cells. The quiet ones that store sugar, water, and emergency snacks. Also responsible for producing toxins, antifungal compounds, and other chemical warfare weapons. And protecting all of this? Bark. A crunchy, dead exoskeleton formed by yet another conveyor belt of self-sacrificing stem cells. Now, here's the weirdest part. Because trees are mostly dead on the outside and their living layer continually regenerates, they basically do not age. Trees don't die of old age. They die of storms, diseases, drought, predators, logging, humans named Chad. But not age. You and I age. Trees simply continue. And this delicate system means that if the thin living band under the bark is damaged, the entire tree can die. One careless cut and the biological skyscraper collapses. So, Curious George, today we learned that trees are towering zombies built from dead cells, powered by microscopic engines and capable of death-defying physics, all while quietly waging chemical warfare and lifting water higher than most buildings. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you have any weird or fascinating tree facts you want to share? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to see what kind of botanical chaos you bring to the table. If you enjoyed learning about the secret life of trees, hit that like button like you're knocking on wood for good luck, follow for more outrageous science stories, and take a stroll through the rest of my videos. Curiosity deserves good company.